There is an acting background in your family, and I know you've dabbled a little bit in that area yourself. Was that ever a major career option for you when you were growing up?
I thought it was the career option until I got sidetracked by music. I thought it would be my life, acting, but then until Pat Benatar hired me to sing with her and paid me good money, and I thought, my goodness, this music thing could be maybe lucrative.
So that was the defining moment, was it?
Well, an extremely early, possibly semi-defining moment.
Mm. Just the same, though, how important has it been for you through the years to have that second creative outlet as acting can be?
See, that's such a great question, John, because it's really important to me. I don't make much of it. I don't even try very hard. But the few things I've done have meant a lot to me, and I still kind of think that it's my path not quite taken. And I may veer back into acting before you know it.
Ah. As far as your music goes, prolific is not a word that one would use to describe your output over the years. Has that been more by choice or by
Well, you could use that word if you were whimsical, John.
Has that been more by choice or circumstance that your records have been so few and far between?
In my mind, I make at least one excellent recording every year, and I put it out, and everyone loves it. I have a vivid imagination, but in reality, it's kind of hard to get work out there. I can't even claim to even partially understand the current state of the music business, but I can say the music itself is better than ever.
Yeah. With such a long time between records, I guess, do you have a large backlog of material to choose from?
You should come over to my living room. I think that I have the most incredible bootleg factory imaginable. It's my own little moonshine still here in the woods in Vermont. I mean, some of my best stuff no one has ever heard. Of course, me being the one person, and my dog, Henry's heard it. He thinks it's good. As long as it comes with, like, a side of beef, he likes everything I do.
So when putting material together for this new CD, how did you go through the process of wading through all that material to come up with some sort of song selection?
It's funny you mention that, because I was looking at an early list of potential song candidates for Pink Velour. I was looking at that earlier today, and I thought, that's funny. Only about 4 of those songs are on the record.
Oh, really?
So intentions don't always equal what actually happens. This record fell together in a kind of thematic way. Some songs I love a lot I recorded, and they didn't actually make it onto this. I will. I'm old school. Sue me. Album. The vinyl in my mind.
Yeah.
I'm still laying down the grooves in my mind. I can't help it.
No, you and me are the same. I'm still guilty of calling them albums from time to time.
I wish that I could put this out on vinyl. I think it's its true destination, but, I recorded this record digitally, and I figured, what, if digital is good enough for Mr. Neil Young, I guess I can deal with it too.
Speaking of Neil Young, there's a wonderful version of Harvest on the record. How did that arrangement come together?
I'm really glad that you think it's wonderful. I hope that Mr. Neil Young will hear it and agree with you. Well, I have this little band in New York that I love with all my aching heart called Plankton. And mostly the sounds of Plankton are bass clarinet and ukulele and acoustic guitars and sometimes drums. And I came in one day and I said, we've got to play Harvest. and here's how it goes. It's great because I don't actually play anything. I only sing on that song. I think that's the only song that I don't play an instrument on.
Is it?
And that was a lot of fun for me to let the far superior musicians handle the instruments.
Did you look on it as a...
But Sorry, John?
No, continue, you're fine.
No. Did I look upon it as what?
As a song that sat nicely alongside the other songs that you already chosen for the record?
You know, at the time, it was just something I wanted to play live. I came in one night, and right before a show, I said, look, we're doing Harvest. But I played with such stellar musicians. They all said, okay, what key? Oh, gosh. They're so good.
Yeah. What qualities do you look for in a song to make it one that you want to cover like that?
It's kind of like falling in love. I have to hear it and then want to hit replay immediately and then hit it again and again and again. And then the songs that I like to sing that I didn't write seem to say to me, I wish I had written that. Oh, boy, do I wish I had written that.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the main qualification.
Did you have much opportunity to road test some of this material in a live situation before you recorded?
To register it?
To test it out on the road?
Oh, well, mostly in New York and Hollywood. Those have been the places where I maybe did little road testing on things. And I like to do that. And things changed quite a bit. Or it is nice to see what people respond to and try to give them more of that.
Yeah.
If you can, and I try.
I believe that the title track of the album is quite a personal one for you, and one that's been known to tug at your emotions when you perform it live. Can you tell us a little bit about Pink Velour?
Oh, well, I will tell you this. The first time I ever played it live was at a little guitar shop in Santa Monica, California, called McCabe's, although I like to call it Macabre's. And my mother was present. She always came to my shows at that place. And I had never played it. I was hoping I could remember it and get it right. And it went pretty well. I'm not a really demonstrative person in public, but I ended up sobbing somewhere in the middle of that song. And apparently people came up to me after the show and they said, we were sitting next to your mother and she was dissolved into tears. It was really heart-wrenching. And so I suppose that my mother, Barry, a great singer, she was crying, I was crying. And what that ended up meaning to me was, maybe that's a pretty good song.
Absolutely. It's going back to your days as a backup singer. What were your career ambitions back then? Were you ambitious?
To make enough money to eat. I love to eat.
So it was really about survival.
Absolutely. I've never really thought much about being or getting to be very popular. All I've ever thought about is at every chance I get to do good work, according to me, that I'm not ashamed of. And that's what I've done all along.
Did you learn much during that time in terms of learning about stagecraft and performing and working to an audience?
You know where I think I might have learned most early idea of skill in that venue is, well, first of all, from Bill Thomas, my high school drama teacher. No kidding.
Really?
He taught me so much. And mainly his message was listen and react. He taught me a lot. And then I think doing a lot of theater early on, being in a lot of plays, mainly with my father here in the town I now live in Vermont. There's a beautiful playhouse. And I did about 6 shows a summer. I would come here from Hollywood, from high school, and I would jump on a jet and I would show up here and do all the shows with my dad. And I think that taught me a lot. And after that, the thing that taught me the most was singing in comedy clubs where nobody wanted to hear you because they wanted the comedians. And I would force my music on the people.
Yeah.
I would say, look, you may be here to laugh, but you're going to take this song. I want you to think about this. But it went pretty well, and it did teach me how to stand on my own big feet.
Yeah.
Hold my own, if you will.
Yeah. The Golden Palominos was an unusual setup for as far as band goes. It had kind of what you would call, I guess, a floating lineup of membership. Did you feel you were still part of a band situation with that outfit, or did it feel more like just being part of a collective of musicians?
Well, at the time, which was quite a while ago, at the time, it felt like my first successful band.
Mm-hmm.
I had kicked around in a couple of really fun combos, and we knew what it was like to split $20 6 ways at the end of the night. Maybe we could afford a 6-pack of beer, and usually not quite. But the Palominos was a more successful effort, and it definitely felt like a band at the time.
Mm-hmm.
But I was always painfully aware that the lineup could change, and then it did.
Was it
But
important?
that's life in the fast lane.
Yeah, sure. Was it an important time for you in terms of your growth as an artist?
I think it was. Working with some of those illustrious types, I paid pretty strict attention. I had more fun than most of them, however, I think, because nobody knew what to think of me,
Yeah.
and including me, and that's pretty liberating. I had a great time.
Yeah. How difficult?
I still really love all of those people. I see them rarely.
How difficult a transition was it for you to make the move to go out there solo and present your own material, standing alone?
You know what? It was very easy.
Yeah?
It wasn't hard at all. I've sort of always gone my own way.
Was there a defining moment when you felt ready to do that?
No, I've never been ready for anything, but I'm always up for everything.
A great supporter of yours over the years is Van Dyke Park. So I've had the pleasure of interviewing myself, and he's a wonderful character. Tell us how you first got involved.
Isn't he the most quotable person in the world? You just want to follow him around with a little notebook and a pen with lots of ink and write down everything he says.
He's amazing. He really is. How did you first get involved with him?
Over the telephone, just like us, John.
Is that right?
I was in touch with this wonderful record producer, Joe Wizard. He produced Earth, Wind, and Fire, all of the great hits by Earth, Wind, and Fire, which sounds funny, but he had tried to help me get some work early on. And I was in California, really drifting around. Mainly went there to visit my ma and my grandma, but I needed work. And Joe Wizard called me and said, listen, there's this amazing man named Van Dyke Parks, and he needs a singer. And I said, tell him I'm the one. He said, wait by the phone. So I did. And Van Dyke called, and over the phone he auditioned me, and he said, "Listen, Straw, do you think you can do it?" And I said, "Well, Mr. Parks, it's well within the realm of my capabilities. When do we begin?" And he said, "Why don't you come over tomorrow morning for a rehearsal?" And I said, "Why wait till tomorrow morning? Why don't I come over now?" And so I did.
You got great reviews for your first album, although it wasn't an outstanding commercial success. What were your expectations of that record?
I don't remember what my ambition for the record was. For me, it was a fantastic opportunity to just zoom around all over the place, make better friends with some of my musical acquaintances and some new musical acquaintances, and it was like a fun pop dream. I'm not going to complain about the fact that Virgin Records gave me such a wide berth, you know? That was bold of them. The music business has changed so much now. I don't know that anyone's having that much fun. I am, but I don't know who is.
How would you describe your relationship with Virgin Records during that time?
Well, I don't think I'm allowed to say this, but I had a great time with them. There were so many nice people working there, and they had different ambitions, and they had a lot of verve at the time. And when it was all said and done, though, the way they dropped me it was so low class.
Yeah.
The way they did it couldn't have been more brusque. And so what I used to like to say a long time ago when I felt nonplussed about it all was I would say, well, they called themselves Virgin, but they sure fucked me. But now I just feel like, wasn't it all fun and good for all of us?
Yeah. So you're over it.
Oh, heck, I better be.
Yeah. You weren't in a major hurry to seek out a new recording deal after that, were you?
No, I never looked for anything. I think that I unfortunately have a personality that waits to see who's deeply interested in me. And I'm hard to find. I live in the woods in a tree, you know?
Yeah.
So, it's not that I was so put off or anything. I think I just got interested in other things. Although I've never lost my deep, abiding interest and passion with regard to music.
Describing your settings there, it sounds like you're in a wonderful part of the world. Has it influenced your writing at all?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think when you live alone in the woods with the best dog in the whole world for you, I'm not saying he's the best in the whole world, he's just the best dog for me.
For your world, yeah.
And I've got this cranky horse who's always tossing me around like a big sack of potatoes. I don't know. I think when you give yourself, when you can find some room to breathe, it's bound to have an interesting effect on whatever you're doing.
Yeah. So you've mentioned this massive backlog of material you've got stored away there at home. Are there any plans for it?
Plans. I do not excel at plans. Well, there's a lot of stuff that I wouldn't mind running by the smart world at large. I don't want just everyone to hear it. I don't. I'm super snob.
Yeah.
I only care what smart, good people think. And everyone else can really, truly go to hell.
Have you considered the possibility of perhaps making it available on your website for download?
That's what I'm working
for
on.
the true believers, yeah.
My website is really underwhelming at present. My friend that runs it got married this year, and he's very, very busy, and there's not a lot happening at it. So what I'm trying to learn is how to be more hands-on with regard to that myself, which obviously is a necessity. And I'm working on it. I'm working on that new language, and I'm going to put out a lot of weird stuff just because what good is it doing me in my funny little living room? It's not doing, I've heard it. You know, I crave interactive attention. I crave the opinions of other people, but again, not just everyone.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear what everyone thinks. That's awful. That's my big gripe with, you know, the world being so computer reliant now, is that now everyone seems to think that they're this really incredible critic of everything. I don't know. I don't really want to criticize everything. I want to promote things that I think are good, because there's a lot of that, and some of it is deeply undersung. And I want to bring some of that to light, all the good stuff that is sometimes dwindling in obscurity. I want to help bring that to people. That's why I started my own little label to put out my latest effort, because there's other people that I think are really wonderful, and I don't know why we're all so shy and slow, but I want to get some of their work out there too.
Fantastic. How's the radio support been for the new record?
I don't know. It's not officially truly out yet. I refuse to put it out officially until we have a new president in our country.
Okay, well, that's not far away.
I know. So right after the elections, which actually I am actually on the ballot in Vermont. I am on the ballot with Obama because I'm running for Justice of the Peace.
Oh, are you?
In my neck of the woods. Oh, yes. I'm already the elected constable, John.
Really?
I am already the elected wayward law of the town.
Wow, that's wonderful.
Which, it makes no sense because I don't really enjoy the law. So I thought if I became the law, maybe I could sort of understand what it is I don't like about it and do a better job of it than people that I think handle it poorly. But I'm running for Justice of the Peace. Here's my platform. Vote for me for JP. I'm the marrying kind. Hell, I'll marry anybody.
Well, you'd have my vote if I was there.
That's my platform. Oh, please, send it in. Vote early, vote often.
In terms of touring to support this record, have you been out and about playing the record to the people?
Every time I do, it's like water after the drought. I get such a good response. It's kind of heartening because who knows what's going to happen. Everybody's very hemmed in and concerned and freaked out and self-involved, you know, and I understand that.
Yeah.
But what I try to do when I go out there is present something else, something good for an hour or two, something else to think about. And I'm looking forward to playing all over the place because that's where I secretly excel. I really love to give shows.
Great. I know
so
you're
as soon as this thing is officially out, I'm going to hit it, you know?
Yeah.
Just throw the dog in the car and get gone. Start playing a lot.
Now, I know you're not a great one for making plans, but anything else in the books for the rest of this year?
I don't mind plans. It's just that plans change you. For the rest of this year, it's funny, I'm working on another record now because I figure I should stack up the work after such a dearth of output. I should try to overwhelm the market with options from me. I'm working on a very lovely record with a great guitarist named Mark Rebo.
Oh, yeah.
And we are just doing duets. I sing, he plays. It's quite lovely.
Wow. So could this be the first...
I would even say, I think it has a certain majesty to it.
Could this be the
he's fantastic.
The first stage of a whole new prolific Syd Straw?
I hope so, John.
Yeah.
I'm not non-prolific by choice, but I do feel that I'm in the middle of a really fertile period, and I want to take advantage of all these synapses that are popping. I want to come to Australia, by God.
Oh, we'd love to have you.
I mean, I really did name myself after Sydney.
We would love to see you down here. Syd, thank you so much for your time. It's been an absolute joy to speak to you.
Oh, my God, John, I have to thank you so much for taking the interest.
And we're delighted to have some new material out there and the promise of some more not too far away, which is very exciting.
You're so kind.
And the best of luck with the election, and we'll hopefully see those initials JP after your name in future.
Oh, my goodness. I hope you're right. Wouldn't it be fun to win?
It'd be fantastic.
We should all win now and again.
I'll be looking
We'd be in better mood.
I'll be looking out for the election
Will you
results.
let me know how this goes? And
yep,
I don't know. Send me some sort of variation on this theme.
Well, I'm just thinking to myself now, I might hang on to this until the record is out there officially,
sure.
Yeah, to take the best benefit from it. But I'll certainly
whatever works for you.
I'll give you an air date and everything when I know it, and you can tune in online.
Oh, I can't wait. I'll sit outside my little library and I'll steal their Wi-Fi, as I do all the time, and I'll listen.
Fantastic. I'll send you a cheerio.
I really thank you so much, John.
My pleasure, Syd, and it's a delight to speak to you, and we do see you down here, not before too long.
If I get there, it'll be because you helped me get there.
Oh, thank you very much. Appreciate that. You take care.
You too, my dear.
All the best. Bye-bye.
Bye, John.